Good morning and welcome back to the Football Terrace. Thank you very much for tuning in as ever. Paul Pogba hits the headlines again. More comments, which I think will be damaging to his relationship with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, which are damning towards the togetherness or the reported togetherness of the Manchester United team. Of course, we have seen multiple reports in recent times that there is dissatisfaction with certain players towards coaching staff. Of course, the fans are not happy, both with the overall management of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and, even more importantly, the running of the football club. Paul has come out and stated essentially that he has a lot of fun when he's with his colleagues with the French national team, and it's simply not the same at club level. There is no fun. Essentially, we're going to go through his exact comments in a few moments, but it's another international break. It's another period where Paul Pogba is away from Manchester United, and it's more derogatory comments about his relationship with the club or his future with the club or his relationship with teammates or management or just the overall caboodle. And my opinion on Paul Pogba remains exactly the same. Exactly the same. And that is the fact that I think the best thing for him I want him to stay. First of all, I'd love Paul Pogba to stay at Manchester United, be happy here, flourish here, and entertain us with his immense talent. That's my narcissism and my wants and what I want to happen. My brain tells me that Paul Pogba is done at Manchester United. And I'm not talking about not having the ability to play here. I just think it's the complete package. And do you know what? Maybe the reason why, when we've started a lot of games without Paul Pogba recently, there's been better performances. Maybe the reason Ollie's looking beyond him is I just don't think Pogba's here mentally 100%. That doesn't mean he's a virus, and it doesn't mean he's a bad egg, and it doesn't mean he's a horrible guy. It's just being completely dedicated. And I think he wants to leave. And I actually don't have an issue with that. The way this club has been run over the past 5 years, it would certainly erode somebody's dedication to you in a professional capacity. There is absolutely no doubt about that whatsoever. You couple that in with the way Paul Pogba is treated in this country by most rival fans and the mainstream media, it makes complete and utter sense. I always stand by what I say. I wish Paul Pogba wouldn't take these things public, because I think it creates an even bigger problem. If I'm being very, very direct, I want to see professionalism, and I treat everybody with the same level of equality. I wouldn't accept these kind of comments from any player, whether they're a first teamer, squad player, Paul Pogba, Marcus Rashford, Scott McTominay, or David De Gea. I would push back. I feel that dirty linen should never be aired in public. That's my personal preference. That's my personal thoughts on these things, and I remain completely and utterly equal and true to that. But from my point of view, the situation is just done. And I think Man United should look to remove Paul Pogba from this squad as soon as possible. I would look to even get a deal done in January if of course, the club has has an option to sell him for the right amount of money, and then look for a replacement. After last night's performance, 110%, I want it to be Jack Grealish, because he looks absolutely sensational. And that isn't to say Jack Grealish is a better football player than Paul Pogba, but it's looking beyond the end of our nose and thinking about the future for Manchester United, because as far as I can see, the relationship with Paul just is not going to be turned around for whatever reason. And we don't know exactly what he's referring to. And we'll go through his comments here. Before we do that, please hit that like button. Please hit that share button as well. Really, really important to the Football Terrace that we get that done. Sorry, I'm just checking something there. The comments from him. Do you know what's annoying me? Sometimes I do this. I had the comments up on the screen. Now they disappeared. Now I've got them back. He says here, the French national team. He said it's a window that opens. I talked with Antonio Griezmann and Raphael Varane. He just says their first names, not their surnames. They're in brackets. We realize that this group is great, and that when we are on the field, we have fun. It's not the same club. At the club, we don't have fun, but here it's not the same, because we laugh. It's a family, and the group we have, regulars and or substitutes, it's really magical, and that's why we're happy to come to the selection. The coach has enormous confidence in us, and we trust him too. He says the mental strength it takes is the difference. The substitutes their seriousness and their professionalism and their talent. They work hard and they don't complain. They really represent France, like Rebion and Kimpembe. Pogba says it's a really difficult. He goes, it's a period that I haven't experienced before in my career. I was used to playing and having rhythm. Now I'm getting my sensation back little by little. I'm finding myself back. I have to put in performances like that against Portugal and be consistent. So I get that he's frustrated that he's not playing at Manchester United. Again, everyone's going to have a different view and opinion on that. I don't expect Paul Pogba to be happy not playing. One thing I will say is that his behaviour has been exemplary when sitting on the bench and coming on. He has come on, he's fought, he's been aggressive, he's tried, he's worked hard. He's done that on a regular basis. So from my point of view, I think that he's done a tremendous job as far as that's concerned. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. David here says it's becoming more apparent it's just not working out. Good luck in the future, Paul. Come on, United. David, I pretty much agree with your stance on it there. I think that's about right. It just isn't working out. It's just not working for whatever reason. And I don't think there needs to be an autopsy into that right now. Some people are going to say, see, it's all because of Oli. Some will start it under Jose. Some will completely blame the player. Some will blame the way the club's being run. You know, there'll be blame pointed in all manner of different directions. And of course, an investigation, an autopsy needs to happen, especially from the fans. We want to know why it hasn't worked with such a tremendous talent. I feel there's an element of 6 of one and half a dozen of another. Sometimes I don't think Paul Pogba puts in great performances. Some people say, the system doesn't quite work for him. And, that's a fair comment. And we live in an era now where players have to fit systems rather than building systems around players. We see that all the managers, by the way, that the Oli outers want to come in are system-based managers that have a fixed system. And you'll see that regularly where a particular player with tremendous talent just doesn't work in a new system, in a new league, or in a new position. So it just hasn't worked out. The problem we have is we're just prolonging the inevitable. Basically, the Paul Pogba situation, how I would explain it is this. We're pulling the plaster off very, very slowly. It's been stuck on for weeks. We ain't bothered taking it off, and now it's really hurt. We just need to pull the plaster off quickly, take that initial sting, because it'll pass. But at the moment, we keep pulling it off a little bit and it hurts, and we put it back on. We put it off slowly, it starts hurting, we put it back on. And we're just prolonging the inevitable, prolonging the pain, and creating a bigger issue for ourselves as a football club and for Paul Pogba. That's the thing here. We make the situation so much worse. Just Football here says, hi, Terry, recap, please. We'll do a little recap for everyone who just tuned in. Make sure you hit the like and share button, subscribe to the channel, and also sign up to our mailing list. The link for that is in the description below. The PS5 competition starting very, very soon. So a little recap for you, very, very simple, is this. Paul Pogba has come out and said that basically he doesn't have fun in the Man United squad. Isn't having fun at the club at the minute. It's a difficult period in his career. He's not used to being on the bench. It's hard for him. And he spoke about how much he loves being away with France because being with France makes him happy and he has fun. He's not having that at Manchester United. I don't think his comments were at all surprising, although I personally don't think he should be saying these things publicly. And maybe that's just my professional upbringing, in the sense of if I'm unhappy with my company, I don't go online and say something about it. I have conversations internally. That's just my preference and way of which I want to do things. But essentially, it's another time where Paul Pogba has lashed out against the club, spoken his mind. And for me, it's inevitable that he wants to leave. That's my opinion. I think what Man United need to do is go out and sell. I would sell come January. I think they need to look to move Paul Pogba on. Now, they need to get their ducks in a row. I would be looking at a replacement, whether it be Ndidi, whether it be Verratti, whether it be Grealish, whatever position they think they need in those central areas the most. I'm just throwing out some names there. If you can bring in a high-level, top-quality replacement, do it. And I don't mean like-for-like replacement before any weirdos get themselves confused. If They can't get a replacement and you wait till the summer, but Man United should be looking to strike that business in January. Paul doesn't want to be here. And do you know what happens in life? If you're not 100% bought into something, no matter how much you say it, I'm still going to give my all, you don't. You know, Paul Pogba is essentially handed in his notice at work, and you never work to the nth degree. You never work to your full capacity once you have done that. We have a super chat here from Ndombele Season. He says, you guys never built the team around him, unlike Spurs. We realize Ndombele requires freedom and bought Højbjerg to complement him. Blame poor recruitment. Yeah, listen, I think part of it is that Paul Pogba has elements for himself, you know, to blame as well. I'm not gonna, you know, some of his individual performances haven't been consistent enough. I think the way he's created, you know, Paul Pogba creates some of these situations himself by speaking out so openly about wanting to leave and wanting to move on. I get that. I think that Mino Raiola, when he's your agent, is tremendous. I think Mino Raiola, as an agent from the outside looking in, can be a little poisonous because he's publicly gone to war with Man United 3 or 4 times, and all of these things create problems. Now, I think Paul Pogba has a great relationship with his teammates. I don't think Paul Pogba has a great relationship with Manchester United overall. I think him and Ollie get on okay to a certain degree. I think Ollie has paid Paul tremendous respect, has protected him as much as he can, because we know after these comments, Ollie is now going to be questioned about these come Friday's press conference. Ollie will protect him because Ollie's a gentleman. Ollie's a great man. Ollie will always do that. But it's the overarching relationship is strained. Man United need to look to sell as far as I am concerned. Timothy here says, I don't care how bad it is with the club, etc. You simply cannot justify his constant comments. All this has to be done behind closed doors. Good for United to get rid of players like that. Do you know, Timothy, again, I understand your view, because that's my view on airing the linen in public. And that was my reason for turning on Jose Mourinho. You know, I was fully behind Jose Mourinho, being annoyed and upset with the way he was being treated. He was absolutely right. But this is the problem with the majority of football fans. They're so polarized. They can only have one thought at a time. It's almost like God hasn't blessed them with the ability to hold 3 or 4 opinions, 3 or 4 different opinions about the same situation that can sit and live in harmony together. That for them, it creates far too much cognitive dissonance, and their brains can't handle it. Their brains overload and shut down. And it's the same here. Like, Jose was mistreated and disrespected by Manchester United. Jose's reaction to that and his behavior then became bad in itself is not acceptable. And that's how life is, you know. Somebody could wrong me, you know, and everyone go, oh, they were well out of order to Terry. But depending upon the severity of my reaction, depends whether people are still on my side or not. So if my next door neighbor accidentally bangs into my car, everybody might agree, it's terrible, man. It's well out of order on Terry. Damaged Terry's car. All my neighbors have sympathy with me. But then I go outside with a shovel and smash the guy's car up, smash the front of his house up, and then smack him over the head with a shovel. Suddenly my reaction to the incident is over the top. And suddenly people have no sympathy for me anymore. However, they still agree that it was wrong that the guy banged into my car. And I think that's what we need to understand sometimes in life, is that these things can simultaneously work. I think the way Paul Pogba has been treated at times, I think the way the club has fouled him and all the other players is wrong. But I don't respect the fact that he goes consistently into the public eye and talks about wanting to leave and not being happy, because it brings more attention, it brings more pressure to the club, and it makes it even harder for us to create an environment to be successful in. And people will defend Paul Pogba. The people that love Paul Pogba will defend him and say, no, he's right, he should speak his mind, this is what we want, yeah. Until a manager comes out and speaks badly about a player that you like, and then it's like, no, he should keep it all in-house. This is the problem. People don't have the same energy. They care about who's doing it rather than what, because they're very, very weak, small-minded people. Bison here says, Terry, no one is buying Paul Pogba in January with the price United want for him. The only chance is Madrid if they continue to stumble in La Liga and the Champions League, since they didn't spend much in the summer. Oh, I hear you, bro. They may not get it done, but as I said, we should look to be getting this sorted. Just Football here says, go for him and United, no replacement, right winger and a centre back in. I still think we need that midfield role. But I hear you there, bro. There we go. There we go. Got one more comment I want to read out here. Terry, I personally feel that selling Paul Pogba will be the better option and a good investment since we can reinvest it in a young, growing talent. Yeah, I agree. That's from AJ. I agree with that, and I think it's the right thing to do on multiple levels. I really do. Short stream from me this morning, people. I've got a few things I've got to attend to. We are ranking Chelsea players this afternoon. So this afternoon, make sure you're tuning in. We're going to be ranking the Chelsea squad in the same way that we've done Arsenal and the same way that we've done Liverpool. It's Chelsea's turn. Back later on today with more content for you. Until then, take care of yourselves. Goodbye, God bless, and see you all again very soon.